Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? This is Calvin Butler, and I want to thank you all for joining me for another episode of the Commercial Loan Guide, which is brought to you by First Choice Financial Incorporated, DBA FCFC Inc. Now, our last broadcast, we talked about commercial and residential real estate investment loans. And I told you all that our next episode, we were going to this is kind of an advice episode. Well, I'm going to be giving you all some advice on how to prepare yourself to get approved for commercial funding or any type of commercial loans. Okay. Now, the thing that's very key to 95% of all commercial loans getting approved is business cash flow. Let me repeat that. Business cash flow. Now, you notice I said business is the key word, cash flow. You can have great personal income, but if you don't have any proof of any type of business cash flow, that's going to pretty much automatically disqualify you for almost 85 to 90% of all commercial lending, other than real estate. Now, with real estate, you don't need business cash flow because if you're trying to get a real estate loan or real estate commercial uh, investment loan or real estate residential real estate investing loan, you don't need business cash flow. Okay, they want to look at the strength of the deal. They're going to look at what you're doing in your normal life and things like that. That's fine. But but about 85 to 90% of all commercial loans are some type of SBA, lines of credit, AR, which is accounts receivable, factoring, equipment loans, credit card stacking, SBA, any type of small business loan. That's about 85, that's at least 80 to 85% of all commercial loans that is in that category. Now, it is paramount, paramount that you have some type of business cash flow. Even if you have no plans of starting a business, everyone who is an entrepreneur, everyone who is, has that mindset that maybe I might want to start a business one day, you should go ahead and incorporate, even if you just incorporate your name, just your name will do. You can incorporate your entire name, or if you don't know what type of business that you want to start in the future, or if you have really no concrete plans on what type of business you want to start, just incorporate your name by using your initials, like me, CB Incorporated. If your name is David Johnson, DJ Incorporated. Okay, so you can just do that, and that's kind of like a benign type of ambiguous um, you know title or ambiguous, corporate name or LLC that you can set up. So if you do start whatever type of business you start, an accounting business, a trucking business, a food truck, tax business, whatever, that same name could you could use that same name, DJ Incorporated, DJ LLC, DJ Inc., or whatever case may be. You can use that your initials and your name to have a business already set up. And look, it only costs like $179 to incorporate yourself. Some places are less than that. And some places it's like $99 to incorporate yourself. And you can go to the IRS.gov and do all your incorporation stuff and this and that, and then you file with the state, and the state may charge you anywhere from $99 to $179. So it's not a bad deal. Now, the next thing you want to do is once you do that, open up a business bank account in that incorporation, in that incorporated name, that LLC, that sole proprietorship, that S corp or whatever it is however you incorporate it. The simplest thing to do is a sole proprietorship or an LLC. Okay, very simple. Doesn't cost much money. Like I say, anywhere from $99 to $179 in most states. And you can file and register on irs.gov and get your um, tax ID number or your incorporated number from them, that's free of charge. Matter of fact, the very moment you file and you complete the online registration, they're going to give you your tax ID number right then and there, your EIN. They're going to give you your EIN right then and there. You get it, save it on your computer, you got it. Okay? You got it. And every year when you need to reinstate or whatever, do your articles of incorporation, whatever the case may be, it's like a little $29 fee or something like that, once a year to do it. So now you got that. It's there. Keep it in your back pocket. Why? Because when you go in and file for a business loan at some point in time, when you do file for a business loan at some point in time, you're gonna need that. You're gonna have to have a minimum of 3 months in business. Now, even if you don't have a business and you've done that, you incorporated your initials or your name, you got that sitting in your back pocket. It could have been sitting there for 4 months, 4 years, or whatever the case may be. And then you may say one day you say, "Hey, I want to start my business." And you may have started your business yesterday, but guess what? Your business actually started when you incorporated your name, whenever you incorporated. So you already got that seasoning. So that's one hurdle out of the way when it comes to business financing. You got that hurdle completely done and out of the way. Now the next thing is when you do incorporate that, make sure you open up a business bank account. Did they get incorporated? Open up your business bank account, and every dime you make, I don't care if you're working a government job, if you're working a regular job, if you're working a side hustle, if you're working for Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever the case may be, every dime you deposit it into that business bank account. I don't care where it's coming from. You deposit it into that business bank account. Okay? If your buddy gives you $500, deposit it into the business bank account. If you get a tax return, right? If you get a tax refund, whatever, deposit it into your business bank account. If you have disability income or whatever that is, deposit it into your business bank account. The reason why you want to deposit every dime you have into that business bank account, because remember the second criteria for securing a business loan, you must have a minimum of $5,000 in monthly cash flow for that business. It doesn't matter if you make $200,000 a year as your job. If that money is going into a personal bank account and not a business bank account, guess what? It doesn't count. That doesn't count. So you want to deposit every dime you have into your business bank account. Now, once you deposit that, once it hits that bank account and it's registered that it's been deposited bank account, you can transfer money to wherever you want to transfer it to your personal account, to an investment account like Robinhood or something like that, to the tax shelter to shelter your money from taxes. You can do that after it hits the business bank account, because the way every lender is going to check to see if you qualify for a business loan is they're going to want to see your last 3 to 6 months business bank statements. They're not concerned about what's going out. They're only concerned about what's coming in, your cash flow, your business cash flow. Let me repeat that, your business cash flow. So it doesn't matter if you got a job or a regular job or your money coming from a regular paycheck, as long as it's being deposited into that business bank account, that qualifies as business cash flow. So you may, at some point in time, decide, wake up one morning and say, you know what? I've been working at this food place for I don't know how long, and now I want to start my own food truck business. I want to buy this food truck. But to get a really good food truck, it's about $80,000 or $100,000. And then I'm going to need to get, supply of food and all that type of stuff. So I need to really get me a line of credit for about $225,000, a business line of credit or a business loan or something where I can get this truck and have enough money left over to buy the food and stuff and be able to operate. But guess what? You already got yourself 90% qualified by establishing that what? That LLC, incorporating your name, that sole proprietorship 7 months ago, a year ago, 3 months ago, 2 years ago, or whatever the case may be. And you've already established you have a business bank account that you set up immediately after you registered your LLC, and you started depositing all your money, had all your direct deposits going into your business bank account, your disability check, your government check, your check from your job. When people give you money, you deposit into your business bank account. You've been depositing money into that business bank account, so you're already met three of the biggest qualifications that it takes to get approved for a business loan. Okay. Now, the last and final qualification is your credit score. Okay. If you got a credit score of a minimum of 550, First Choice Financial Incorporated has lending partners that will give you a business loan as long as you meet the other minimum requirements. $5,000 a month in business cash flow. That's money that's being deposited into your business bank account. Okay. 3 months in business. You set up your LLC and all that stuff more than 3 months ago, so you're good there. 3 months business bank statements, last 2 months or 3 months business bank statements, you're good there because you have your business bank account where money has been deposited since the time you set up your LLC and you started transferring money or started depositing all your money into your business bank account. So before you even thought about starting a business, you've already set yourself up to be approved for a business loan. Now, if you're in need of a business loan right now and you have a business, but you haven't been in business for more than 3 months, you don't have a business bank account, or your business bank account is not showing $5,000 per month for the last 3 months, guess what? Now is the time to go ahead and start having all your money deposited into a business bank account. Now is the time to go ahead and incorporate your name or your initials. Now is the time to do that. Because if you do that now, this is what the end of October, by January, November, December, January, by February, you would have met all the minimum qualifications to get a business loan. So if you've tried to apply for a business loan lately, or if you've been thinking about applying for a business loan, but you don't have at least $5,000 going into a business bank account, or you don't have an LLC that's set up yet, so you haven't been in business for a minimum of 3 months, okay? You may have great credit, you may have great income, but you don't meet those qualifications. Why? Because you don't have a business account, you don't have a business, and the business has not been in business for at least 3 months. So do that now. Get set up now with all that. Very simple. You can literally do all this in one day, in a couple of hours. Seriously, it takes you about 15 minutes to register your LLC online with the IRS.gov. Okay, 15 minutes tops. It takes another 10 to 15 minutes to go ahead and go to your state's your state site and set up your LLC. 15 minutes. You can pay them online, $99 to $179. 15 minutes. Then it probably take you another 20, maybe 30 minutes to go to your bank, and set up a business bank account. You got your EIN number, right? You got your state, your articles of incorporation done, all that stuff. Now you can go set up your business bank account. Go set up your business bank account. You can literally get all this done in a day or two, and you're all set up and you're ready, and just have it sitting there. Now it takes another 5 to 10 minutes to go to your job's HR department and let them know you want to change your direct deposit. go online to your disability, myvet.gov or Social Security, whatever it is, and say you want to have all your money instead of being direct deposited into your personal bank account, I want it sent to this account. You've really set the stage for you to be approved. It really is just that simple. Now, how do I know this? Because I did it. I did it back in whew, back in 2008 to 2009. I was homeless. Believe it or not, I was homeless in 2008 to around about 2009, about the middle of 2009. Right? Then I went to truck driving school. I went to truck driving school and got my CDL. Now, I didn't own a trucking company. I got my CDL, right? I didn't own a trucking company, but I got my CDL and I went to work for Covenant Transport. I was a company driver. But guess what? I incorporated a business name, RBBS Transport LLC. Now I could have as easily incorporated my name, Calvin Butler LLC or COB LLC or COB Inc. or CB Inc. or whatever the case may be. So I could have done that, but I incorporated a fictitious business name, RBBS Transport LLC. Even though I was being paid by Covenant Transport to my name, but I told Covenant Transport I wanted my check to be Calvin Butler, DBA, RBBS Transport LLC. Now, at first they told me, well, I couldn't do that. I said, well, just, make it out to Calvin Butler. That's fine. But I wanted to deposit it into what? My business bank account. Now, after about 3 months of driving for Covenant, the reason why they couldn't do it right away, because I was still in the probationary stage. I was on a training truck, I think for about 3 to 4 weeks. I was on a training truck. But after I finished the training and I was assigned to my own truck, then I was able to have my checks put in Calvin Butler, DBA, doing business as RBBS Transport LLC. And all of my money was being deposited into my business bank account. Even though technically I did not have my own truck, I did not have my own business. So after I had been driving for Covenant for a year, that's a year of having my business bank account, that's a year of them depositing $7,000 to almost $8,000 per month, because I was making about $1,200 to $1,500 a week. I was doing pretty good with Covenant. I was doing really, really, really good. So I was getting deposits of somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 per month that was going into my business bank account for an entire year that I worked with Covenant. After my first year, I came home on a 2-week break, and during that 2 weeks, I went to my bank where I had my business bank account. And during that year, I had gotten contingent contracts from shippers that I frequently visited, during my time driving with Covenant. And about 8 or 9 of them had given me contingent contracts. But I said to them, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own trucking company. If I was to get my own truck, would you all allow me to run some of your lanes? Would you all contract me to run some of the lanes? Of course, Calvin, you've been doing good. You've been on time. You have a great record with us through Covenant. We'd be happy to sign you on to run some of our freight if you got your own truck. Great. So they gave me, I said, well, can you give me something, a contingent contract? That's a contract contingent on me getting a truck. So they gave me my contingent contract. They had the lanes and stuff that I'd be running, but I would be paid for running those lanes. I took those contingent contracts to my business bank account where my money had been deposited for an entire year, where I had my LLC on file with them. And so I had the business cash flow already, even though I wasn't technically running a business. Now I needed money to buy my own truck. So when I applied for that business line of credit, and they looked and said, okay, you have more than a year of business bank statements. Your LLC has a year season. The minimum qualification was 3 months. The minimum qualification for the business bank account was 3 months. Okay. The minimum qualification to get approved for up to $250,000 was $5,000 per month. I had all that already, even though I was not a business yet. And I already prepared myself to get the approval. And of course, my credit score was decent. My credit score at that time was like 690. Average one was like 720. The other one was like 690 something, and the other one was like 710. So it averaged out to about 690. Okay, so I had the scores and everything. I was there. I think the minimum credit score was 550. So when I went and applied for a business line of credit, they approved me for $225,000 off rip. No problem. Got my business credit card, my line of credit card, went and bought my first truck, which was a brand new Volvo. Yes, I bought a Volvo, and it was automatic. Yeah, but I know a lot of truckers out there probably saying, "Man, you bought a Volvo and automatic?" Yes, I bought a Volvo and an automatic. At that time, the truck was like $125,000. I had a $225,000 line of credit. I bought that the day I bought it because I bought it on my line of credit. I got the title. Why? Because it was paid for. I already had secured the line of credit. The line of credit was not secured by any type of lien on my truck or anything like that. So when I bought the truck, it was completely paid for, lien free. I owned it, and I was only making payments on my line of credit, the interest only. I was only making payments on the $120,000 that I used off of my business credit card for the interest only. I think that first truck I bought, my payments were like $375 to $425 per month. But that's the power of getting yourself prepared and set up to get approved for business loans. Okay? Because you are definitely going to need a business bank account. You cannot get approved for a business loan without a business bank account. You cannot get approved for a business loan if you don't have business cash flow. That's money that's being deposited into that business bank account. You cannot get approved if that money is not at least $5,000 per month in monthly cash flow. And you must prove that by showing your last 3 months bank statements and your last 2 years, in some cases, your last 2 years tax returns. Okay? So do yourself a favor. Set yourself up for success now. Even if you're thinking about starting a business or you applied and they told you you don't qualify because you don't have the business bank account or you don't have the not showing them no enough money that's being deposited into your business, do it now. And 3 months from now, you'll be right for approval. If you have questions about any of this, or if you want to seek my advice on any of this, on how to make this process happen, give me a call. The number is right there, 850-933-4632. Again, that's 850-933-4632. Or email me at fcfinancial@ymail.com. That's fcfinancial@ymail.com. Look, I thank you all again for joining me for this episode of the Commercial Loan Guy. My name is Calvin Butler, and this episode has been brought to you by First Choice Financial Incorporated, DBA FCFC Inc. Bye, everybody. See you next time.